Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Robot Tech. My name is Scotter75, and today we're gonna teach you. This is a basic steps of how to do anything in Photoshop. This is pretty much a tutorial I'm gonna run you guys through. I don't know if you want this setup or this setup. I don't know. I don't know. We'll work with whatever with this one. You can see everything. That's all that matters. So we're gonna just teach the basics. At least I'm gonna teach you everything I know about Photoshop, and we're gonna do it in 20 minutes or less. No, I'm joking. We're gonna probably do it in probably a couple episodes. It's gonna be a new series, obviously. Just thought I'd show some people, if they don't know anything about Photoshop, what they can do. So let's teach you the basics. So file, new, blank file. So here's what we're working with. You know what? Hey, you can't even see that. So yeah, it doesn't really work. But basically, I have presets. You could have custom presets. You could put in your width, height, resolution. So let's say new U.S. paper. Just basic standard. I'll start with that. So I'll come out with this. So that's how to start that. So it'll probably help if I kind of have some things going for us here. So let's kind of open up a file first. You know what this one is, right? This is one of my Photoshops I did for my schedule for Twitch. So as you can see, a lot of things on the right here, these are layers. So for much anything you do, I recommend putting in layers. But yeah, so we'll teach you just the basics. We'll go over this layer stuff a little bit later, but we'll just kind of teach you the basics. All right. So this is the move file, and you can see, by the way, that anytime I open up something new, it creates a new tab. So this is kind of this button here is the moved tool. All right, so let's say this Wednesday stream at 9 p.m. You could click it, and you could also use your keyboard arrow keys to move it around, as you could hear clicking if you hear that, but you could also move it manually. Sometimes you might like click this layer, as you can see, like I accidentally click it. So yeah, we'll teach more advanced stuff later about how to fix that. Rectangular, I'm not sure. I think this kind of like, so we'll kind of teach you this. Yeah. What did I do? So this is kind of keeping an area thing here, and as you can see, since this is a lower layer, it won't cover it up. So let's go on the top, and it's all white. So this kind of restrains you from going outside that box. This is lasso tool. This is more of a I gotta select something else. So let's unlock this background. So this lasso tool, let's say you want to select all of that, click the move tool, and now it's gone. So that's lasso's kind of like a free-form tool. Anytime you see this like white checkered in the background, that means it's just kind of translucent. It's kind of nothing is here. This is like a nothing area. So that's a lasso tool. This is a selection brush. Not sure. Oh yeah, so this would be the same thing. Kind of if you want a certain area, you could do that. And that's that. I believe you could click as a control one of these. But yeah, this is kind of this kind of works with other photos. So if you kind of go along here, wouldn't really work, but yeah. This is just a nice tool. It's one of the probably most used tools that you'll see. This is remove wet red eye. This is from photos, obviously. This is a bandage tool. So this one's kind of a little bit tricky. So if you hold down Alt, so we'll go back to the game capture so you can see this. This is I messed up kind of button. So let's undo all this. This is kind of probably the one I use the most. Probably you could see it in this very this one especially. Let's remove that triangle. So yeah, this one kind of heals things. Yeah. So if you hit Alt, yeah. Oh, it's probably because spot here automatically pixels to correct spot. It's to manually set the source. Use the healing brush tool. Maybe I think I could show you that somewhere else. There we go. So if you see, I click this, and pretty much anything. It's pretty much getting. So I'm clicking that, right, and then it kind of get from that one. It's hard to explain until we get later in. This one kind of does the same thing. This is the stamp tool. Actually, this one kind of does it better. As you can see, it kind of where that where you see that plus at is where it's copying from. So let's say I copy from over here. Let's do something really ridiculous. Oh, it doesn't. It's probably because it's way back here, but let's do something way over here. See how it's white? So anything that it's that arrow is, it'll copy it. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of the I messed up tool right there. Blur tool, I'm not sure about this one. I don't use this very often. We'll probably get into these a little bit more once we get into detail, but just kind of wanted to show you kind of what these all entail. Let's go back here. So this is a sponge tool, kind of the same concept. Let's see. It's kind of like dabbing things. So as you can see here, I kind of changed the setting, but it doesn't really do anything. I don't really use this very much. This is probably my most used tool, the brush tool. So we'll go back here again. We'll kind of go back and forth. I guess that's what we're doing here. This is the one I kind of use the most. This kind of has fun. You could actually, you know, these fruits ones, for example, you could Google them online, and we'll get into that again later. But kind of pretty much anything from here on down to here are basic ones you get with Photoshop. So yeah, pretty. This is where, you know, your art kind of comes in. This is at least what I use. So we got that there going for us. These are all kind of self-explanatory from here on down, honestly. So this is a eraser tool. All of this is gone. Let's just undo what is going on. You can tell I've done this before. Really, trust me, I'm a professional. There we go. I forgot the combination. So we'll go over this too. We'll delete some of this. But this is just the basics, so don't worry. We're gonna cover everything. Alright, so paint bucket, obvious, self-explanatory. Gradient, this kind of is also a little bit fun, so say you want rainbows, you could do that in the background. It's pretty cool. This is color picker, it's kind of self-explanatory. Just pick the color. Let's say I want that green or this bluish green, whatever it is, this turquoise. You do that, and now it's on your brush. Let's see, yeah, lines. I'll go over this later. Obviously, you could have any angle you want. You could, as you can see, there's other shapes you could do if you really want to have fun with it. Again, we'll go over some of the details of that a little bit later. There's some things I click to make it straight. I'll tell you that a little bit later. Text, again, self-explanatory. I feel like the text is a little bit difficult in terms of kind of what you want to do. So let's go to this blank file. So you kind of just drag and drop. Then obviously type whatever you want. Say Scouter is the best if you want. So let's click that, and so if you when you click off of it, you could always go back and highlight it, and you just gotta click it, and then yeah, it's really tedious, honestly. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory there. So I click that, click the check mark as done. So when you see this, you click it, but if you see like, it's hard to tell. If it's like, see if you click like way out here, it's gonna start a new one, so you don't. It's really tedious sometimes. Pencil tool, obviously, kind of also self-explanatory. Just you could just draw on it. Modify, this is cropping. So this is, say you want that, and it'll crop. Click the check mark, and it'll do it. Not sure what any of these other ones do. Straighten tool. I never used any of these. There we go. It's kind of rotates it. I never use this, so yeah. So these are layers over here. If we go back here and let's move this. Oh, that didn't work. Let's do that. What happens if I do that? Oh, nothing. Okay. So if you go over here, in this upper right-hand corner, this is kind of new layer. So let's say we want to start a new layer. We could draw on it. So anytime I need to do this too. Anytime you want a new layer, let's say you want a red blob, you always want to start a new layer because you didn't see that, but. I just did that. So you start a new layer because if I, let's say, draw on this and I didn't like it, it's a little bit more difficult to get rid of, if that makes sense. I could easily get rid of this by clicking delete, but once it's like on, once you have all these things going on, you could only undo so much. After a while, it stops undoing. It's hard to explain, but we'll kind of get to that later. So this is, say trash, we just drag and drop. This is a lock layer, so let's say I don't want to like, so, oh, I didn't even do that. So lock layer, this is the new layer, this is a trash can, sorry about that. So I'll go back, so that way you can see. So, yeah, a lot of cool stuff. So the lock layer, I was going to say, the lock layer kind of just cements anything you have a lock on. So this kind of helps once you have a lot of layers like this. I mean, it's not too many layers, but once it gets like as you can see, click on it and it's like, oh, I don't want that layer, I want this layer, and then so you could lock it, and that way you're focusing on a different layer. So that kind of helps. But yeah, anytime you want to start a new layer, just trust me. So with this shape, I start a new layer. With another shape like this octagon, I'm going to start a new layer. It's just way easier to start new layers versus doing it later. So see, I feel like I could only go back so far. After a while, it'll stop undoing things, as you could tell. It's not back to the original video. So that's why it's so important, or original picture. That's why it's so important to have layers, because as you can see, I'm clicking undo, and as you can see, I can't do undo anymore. So yeah, effects and graphics and other things we'll kind of go over later, but that's basically it for the basics. View, you could zoom in, you could click this hand, move it around. That's if you zoom in too much like this, then you can move it around a little bit. That's what those are. So yeah, that's at least the basics of the tools, and then next video we'll kind of get into a little bit more advanced stuff. I'll kind of teach you. We'll kind of make something, and then I guess I'll teach you on the way. That's probably how I'm gonna do this video, is like teach on the way. So I hope you're enjoying this. If you want to see more, hit like and subscribe. If you know something that I don't, let me know. But this is honestly, I learned Photoshop just on my own. So I mean, I did have a class in college, but I pretty much knew everything they taught me. I knew a little bit more, but honestly, for the most part, I taught myself. So I'm teaching you, so you could also learn on your own. It's a little bit more fun. So thanks for watching. Take care, and hit that like and subscribe. And see you guys next time. Bye.